Good morning, Jeremy Martin from Rich Martin Fine Homes. We're back at our Burnt Road project. Pretty exciting day. You see the framers up behind us here. So we're going to pan up and show you what's happening above us. So, you know, this is again a 75-year-old home. It was laid out like a 75-year-old home, chopped up into 5 or 6 rooms. So when that happens, we're on an old pier and beam foundation. The loads from the roof are being transferred down onto the walls, and those loads are being transferred down into these piers. The problem with that when we go to re-lay out our office here in a couple of days is those walls are all going to move, right? We're going to reconfigure this space to be conference rooms, offices, break rooms, and such. So we don't really have a good way to control how those loads are going to come down onto where those future wall locations are and transfer down into these piers. So the solution is this. So I'm going to try to get a pan in on this. So what you're looking at here is a design from BMC. This is a girder truss. This is actually one of 4 girder trusses, and when you look up, we'll show you where they are. So the concept here is we're going to just forget about transferring point loads from the roof down into walls and down into the foundation. When we build our office here in a couple of days, the interior walls aren't going to be doing anything structurally. They're merely going to be segmenting the space into different rooms. They're going to be more like partitions and less like really walls in a conventional framing, standpoint. So if you look up, what we've done here is we now have a completely open room, one room. We have 950 square foot office from not a single wall in here by design. And so how are we doing this, right? Well, first step was, I'm going to point to this temporary brace right here. So what we had to do when the walls were still in yesterday is we came in and we temporarily braced this roof load. So right now all the weight of this roof load is really sitting on these temporary braces. You see about 7 or 8 of them around the house right now. Then we knocked out the walls that were here and got rid of them completely. The next thing we did was haul in these girder trusses. So what I showed you on this sheet of paper was just one. One of the major advantages of doing this versus, say, a huge steel beam or a major glue lam or LVL is you can bring them in one by one. These things are obviously incredibly heavy. 4 guys got one of these into place, temporarily braced it, and brought the second and the third and the fourth in. You can't see it because they're on the other side, but once we got them up there, we bolted them all together with some bolts. So now all 4 of these are actually sandwiched together with bolts. And at this point now, we're completely free span, 34 feet from the front of the building to the back. You can see we've got our new roof joists in place that are hangered into Simpson hangers. So the last step now, what these guys are getting ready to do once we get out of the way is we now need to transfer these roof loads onto this truss. And at that point, these braces won't be doing anything anymore, right? So all the weight will be sitting from the roof on this truss. We'll knock these out and then we're done. So at that point, we have ultimate flexibility today on where we put our walls and in the future. So the benefit of doing this is, we've got all the sheetrock down, we have total access to the attic. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if we decide to change the use of this space, move partitions around down here or expand the building, we're going to have ultimate flexibility to put the walls wherever we want. We don't really care where the roof loads are because we know they're now sitting on the very back at the end of that girder truss and on the very front. And if you pan in right here, you're going to see this quadruple stud here. This is carrying obviously an enormous amount of weight. Half of the roof load from this building is sitting right here. We kind of got lucky, really, which helps in construction sometimes. There's actually a pier sitting right underneath this this series of studs. So this weight is being transferred down into a pier down below, which obviously you can't see, but it's there. So it's a good shape. I think one other thing to note too, one of the key advantages of this girder truss system, you see the rake that's built into this girder truss system, and you saw it in the diagram as well. You see how it just slips right in under the roof line. It would have been very difficult, if not impossible, to pull that off with any sort of LVL or steel. So this was really a key design in order for us not to have to change the roof line of the house. So I think it worked out pretty great. We're about a couple hours away from being done with it. The framers are doing a really good job. So check back in and come back and we'll show you what we're doing next. Thanks.